What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing my January reading wrap up. I woke up with a little bit of a pink eye, so I have to wear my glasses, and I'm sort of like blind, so if I were to take off my glasses, I would be, I don't know how it looks to you, but I feel like I'm going cross-eyed because I can't even see, and ow, so much hairspray on. Okay, anyway. 2025, the year that I just, read whatever the fuck that I want to read. I am over trying to read what everyone else is reading just so I can like form a conversation over something that I love, which is books. Also, this is my first video with this microphone, and if I can't figure out the audio, it's just like not gonna happen. I'm just gonna be holding this microphone for no reason. Is it recording? Okay, it's recording. Let's pray that I figure out this audio situation. I hope it's not too distracting. I hope it like actually adds quality to my videos. Anyway, so in 2024 I read 57 books, and for 2025 on Goodreads I put my reading goal at, do I have a drum roll on here? Voiceover yell gunshot. I set my reading goal for 60 books. If I surpass it, I surpass it. If I don't even get to 60, that's fine too. It's just something to motivate me. In the month of January, I read 10 books. So let's get into every book that I read and what I ranked them. The first book that I read was on my Kindle, and it was Brutal Prince by Sophia Lark. I think the Twisted series by Anna Huang sort of categorized, depending on who you talk to, as a mafia romance series. I would disagree. When I read Brutal Prince by Sophia Lark, it was different to me. I would personally say that this was my first mafia romance book because it was different to me, and I kind of was like not into it at first. I was about to DNF it, but Heather McCleary, I'll input her right here. She's one of my favorite booktubers. She recommended it. I read it on my Kindle. It's on Kindle Limited for anyone who's interested. I was like about 20 to 25% in, and I was like, I hate him. Like, I hate this man. Like, whatever he says and whatever he does, I hate it. And one of my goals for 2025 was, if I'm not vibing with it, I'm going to DNF it. I'm not going to waste my time. But then one of my good friends, Iksta, she's super into mafia romances, and she's like, just push through. I pushed through, and I'm glad that I did because I really enjoyed the story, and I actually enjoyed the illustrations that the author included in the book. I had never really seen that much, and I really liked it. This is about a arranged marriage between two children that both come from prominent mafia families in different areas of Chicago. One is like old money, one is new money, and basically it's an arranged marriage to bring these two mafia clans together and stop the fighting that is going on in the city of Chicago and sort of own more of the city by combining the two families. So it's arranged marriage. It's a little bit of an age gap, and it's also enemies to lovers. Obviously, she's the younger one, and she's kind of just like rebelling, and she kind of just want to like make a ruckus to make a ruckus and just piss him off. I literally texted my friend, I'm like, every time he opens his mouth, like, I hate it. But she can like almost try to kill him, and that's fine. But as soon as he does something to get her back, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing that? But I enjoyed the story. I don't know if I'm going to continue the series anytime soon. I'm not opposed to it, but it's just not something that I read and want to continue immediately. I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. If you ever talk to my wife like that again, I'll empty that clip in your chest. That is when I decided I liked our male main character. Anyways, that was my first read of 2025. It was a random book that was nowhere on my radar. I just saw it on Kindle Unlimited. I'm like, let's do this. Let's do the damn thing. My second read of 2025 was actually a reread. I've read this book about 3 times, but this is like my 4th or 5th time reading this book, but my first time reading it as an adult. And I wanted to do that in order to see what different details I picked up on and what different things resonated me from when I read it as a teenager to now reading it as a 27-year-old woman with 2 children and a husband. With that being said, I read Perks of Being a Wallflower. I love this book. Ever since the first time that I read it, it's been a 5-star for me. It is still a 5-star. I absolutely love this book. I recently found out that this is a banned book. which is insane to me. You're letting people read really dirty smut, but you're not letting them read a coming of age story. Oh my god. Okay, so like where I'm sitting right now in my bedroom is directly sharing the backyard fence with like my neighbors, and they're just outside cooking. They can see me, and I can't close the window because I need the sun. Anyway, Perks of Being a Wallflower. This is a beautiful, beautiful coming of age story about Charlie, who is going into freshman year. He has no really place in the world. He's trying to find out where he fits in, who he is. And he meets this found family of a group of friends, which I just adore each one of them because they bring something so unique to the story, each single character, from Patrick to Sam to Mary Elizabeth to Alice. Everyone brings something to the story. To freaking Bob. Like, everyone brings something to the story that is profound to Charlie and also profound to the reader when you're reading it. Like, you have someone to connect to, whether it's a sarcastic side character or to Charlie. It's set in the late 1980s to 1990s, and it is told through letters that Charlie is writing to someone who we never get the name of, and he states in his letters that he's staying anonymous to protect the integrity of not only himself but the people that he's writing about. And he is just telling his life in high school and the troubles that he's going through, dealing with things that he went through in his life, the things that he's going through currently, and also the things that other people are going through, because he is really sort of like an empath. And I think that's where I relate with Charlie so much, because I feel everybody's feeling significantly more than my own feelings. And I really, really love this book. It hurt my heart to see that this is a banned book, because I really believe that teenagers in high school would benefit from reading this book and being taught this book. But this is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I will continue to read this book for the rest of my life. I really, really, really love this book. The next book that I read was actually an audiobook. I used to be the type of person that was like an audiobook snob, like, oh, if you listen to the audiobook, it doesn't count. But like, honestly, like, I just needed the stick taken out of my ass, and it happened. So now I have an Audible subscription, and I saw everyone raving about the audiobook Lights Out by Nevessa Allen. So I used a credit on that and I listened to the audiobook, and oh my gosh, guys, this is the funniest audiobook. Again, this was something different for me because this is like a dark romance, stalker, kinky, smutty book, and I don't really typically read that, but I stepped out of my comfort zone. So the book, the story, I would rate the story alone a 3. The audiobook and the narration of the story was so good, I rounded it up to a 4. The people who read the book were just so fucking hilarious. And the author did such a good job combining dark romance and like stalker and a little bit of like mafia. I don't know, just a little bit of everything. She mixed that with the perfect amount of comedic relief that didn't make the story feel so heavy and so dark and like leave you feeling icky afterwards. I was cracking up with this narration of this audiobook. It was just so phenomenal. It was so funny. I rated it a 3.75, rounded it up to a 4 stars on Goodreads because we still don't have half or even quarter stars. So I put 3.75 stars, rounded up. Characters give the dark romance such an amazing comedic relief with perfect timing and perfect execution. Pun intended. I'm like so self-conscious of my neighbors right now. I hope they don't think that I'm just like this gigantic weirdo that's trying to like peer into their backyard. Newsflash, Miranda Marie, nobody gives a fuck. Okay, the next book that I read was Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I actually started this in December and misplaced my copy of my book, so then I had to stop reading it. But I picked it up again because I found it, and I was so happy because this was an amazing book. This was my first Frederick Bachman read, and I really want to continue reading his books. I know he has a short story on Kindle Unlimited that's about 100 pages, so I'm definitely going to read that soon. But this is about 6 strangers that are held hostage by this bank robber. This is taking place at a apartment showing, like they're there to see the apartment because they're interested in buying it, and they get held hostage by a bank robber. It sort of reminds me I'm sorry, my laptop is right here with like I have a full fucking DJ set for this microphone. That's why I keep turning this way. It sort of reminds me of the 5 people you meet in heaven in the way that it shows you how easily our lives are intertwined in ways that we don't even realize. Oh my gosh, I said 6 people. It's actually 8 people that are held hostage, but this is just such an amazing book. The way that he writes is so profound. The things that he says and the points that he makes are so, so good. He makes his points in a way that there's not excessive wording or poetic fluffy words. Like, he gets right to the point and you're sitting there and you're like, holy shit, I have been trying to explain that feeling or that thought for my whole entire life. You just made the point and you made it seem so easy. This whole page is literally highlighted. This is another book that I'm going to continue to reread in my adult life because it's just so amazing. And every single character comes from a different background, a different social class, and they bring something new and a new sort of outlook on the same situation that they're all in. But again, this is another book that I'm going to continue to reread in my adult life. And once my children get of age, probably in high school, I'm going to present them with a set of books, and this is going to be in that set of books. So this was a 6 out of 5 stars for me. I will recommend this to every single person. So I have sort of not been on a book ban where I refuse to purchase books. If I see a book and I really want it, I'm going to get it. But I have been more conscious of my book purchasing because I really want to get through my physical TBR and make it a point to read those books. So I did a really good job. I have under 10 books to read to complete my physical TBR, and I'm so, so proud of myself. But I was buying books as a present for my sister-in-law, and it was buy 2 get 1 free. So I was like, I can get the 3rd one for myself. But I asked my husband to pick out the book for me, and this is the one that he picked out. He picked out The Truth About the Accident by Nicole Trope. This is actually on Kindle Unlimited. So the premise of this book is that there is this man who is married to, what is her name? Marla. So Marla is Damon's wife. Damon is this high up, not IT, tech guy. He's like the CEO of this really good company. So this book is split up into 3 different POVs. Well, technically 4. So 3 POVs. It's Marla, who is Damon's wife, Athena, who is the mistress, and then his psychologist, I don't know the difference, but his therapist, I'd say his therapist, who is Sonia. So there's 3 women whose point of view we get, and then there's these mysterious letters that are mixed into it, which revolve around this accident where Damon, the man, this beautiful, charming man, gets ran over. But who hit him? Is it his wife because she found out he was cheating on her? Was it the mistress because she's pregnant? Or is it the therapist who knows all of the secrets? Really good plot line. I liked it. I just think that in the middle there was an extra 50 to 60 pages that were not needed. It got a little slow in the middle. I guess 50% of the plot twist. But it was really good. It was really good. My husband was very happy that I enjoyed this book. I rated it a 3 out of 5. I will recommend it to people who like thrillers. I liked it. It was interesting. The plot line was interesting. Like I said, I didn't guess 100% of the plot twist, so there's that. The male main character, even though he wasn't awake most of the time because he got fucking ran over, I hated him. Absolutely hated him. He was literally garbage. I hated him. Next book I read was another reread, one of my favorite books of all time, and it just hit different. The second time it hit different. My friends and I have a book club called Shelf Love Book Club, and this was our read for the month of January. It is no other than Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. Oh my god, guys. I love this book. I love, love, love this book. I will not accept any slander on this book, especially on Elliot's name.
Don't come for Elliot.
Because I will come for you. I love him. I think he's ranked number 2 or 3 on my book boyfriend's ranking. Macy's mother passes away. Her mother leaves her dad a list of things to do or to say or make sure Macy does as she gets older. Her mom died of cancer, I believe. That's not a spoiler. It happens in the first 2 pages of the book. In the list, her mom tells the dad, she's going to be getting into high school. She's going to have a lot of classes. The first time she tells you that she needs a break, fucking take her away and just like help her relax. Amazing mom, amazing dad. Her parents were amazing. But her dad legit goes and buys like a cabin in this small town. I think it's like a lake or something. Buys this house right next door to none other than Elliot and his rambunctious family. He has like a whole bunch of brothers. His mom and his dad are like the loveliest people ever. They're next door neighbors. They meet as teenagers, becoming friends, forming this really, really tight friendship. And they go from friends to lovers, and then they go from lovers to literally strangers, and they meet 10 years down the road as adults. You're flipping from timelines from then to now to figure out what happened to cause this decade-long silence. There's something about second chance romances that just does it for me, and this is just amazing. I love this. I love this book. Elliot is so funny. Like, he's not the obvious type of pop. He's not like a fucking hockey player with a six-pack. More of like an Augustus Everett type vibe. That's what I get from Elliot, and that's why I love him, because I love Augustus Everett. He's like messy hair. He has a rinkety-dinkety paperback book in his back pocket. Like, fucking thick glasses. Probably drinks an Americano. Love him. I will always recommend this book. This is a 6 out of 5 stars for me. I will continue to reread this book as well throughout my adult life. I just love this book. The next book that I read was on my Kindle. I saw like this like tiny sliver of a quote on TikTok from this book, and I decided to look it up. It was on Kindle Unlimited. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna read it. Had never heard of it before. Was never on my radar. I read it and I hated it. Right after I read this book, I said, what the fuck? Why did I keep reading this book? Granted, it only took me like a day and a half to read this book, but it is A Hue of Blue by Marie-France Legere. That is a French name. Now that I'm thinking about it, the premise of the book is not terrible. The writing wasn't terrible either. It reminded me of Tell Me Lies, where I finished the book and I was just angry. I was angry. Feminine Rage, the musical. I was the star. It left me angry. I hate books like this, but the more that I think about it, it's very important to have books like this, because not every love story is like a profound, healthy love story, and you don't run off into the woods together every single time. So stories like this need to exist. It just makes me upset that that's like, reality, because it's escapism. Yeah, I think I rated it a 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, but now that I look back at it, I did like the writing more than Tell Me Lies. And if I liked, what was that book called? A Love Letter to Whiskey so much, like, why did I give this book such a hard time? But I think it's because the author described our male main character as having a little tiny cross earring, and that gave me the ick. Lou and Jace, they meet in college, and they have this tumultuous, toxic, won't even say relationship, because it's more of a situationship. And it goes from Jace's point of view to Blue's point of view. They both have, like PTSD. She has severe PTSD from her alcoholic mother and her abusive father, who passed away, I think, of alcoholism as well. And Jace just has, small pee-pee syndrome. He's just a very insecure male. Very, very insecure male. He's just so jealous of like his like finance bros. His like actual brothers are like finance bros. And he's just so jealous that like he's not a finance bro. Jace, get it the fuck together. You have a cross earring. You're not going to be a finance bro. And yeah, it just follows their situationship over the course of, I think it's like a year or two. And she just keeps going back. And she has a lot of issues that she needs to face. The thing that I liked about this book is that it has mental health representation. And at the end of the book, you kind of feel relief with Blue as well, because she gets the closure that she needs and help that she needs. So I like that. So looking back, I think I would rate it a 3 out of 5 stars instead of 2 out of 5. But yeah, it's on Kindle Unlimited if you want to read it. She kind of reminds me of Nessa in a way. Who the fuck is Nessa? Nesta, in a way, from Court of Silver Flame. If you know, you know. Next book that I read was Runaway Love by Melanie Harlow. My sister-in-law picked this up at Target, and it's actually, not only does it have beautiful sprayed edges, but it's actually a signed copy as well. I've never read anything by Melanie Harlow. This was my first book. This is also on Kindle Unlimited. So I switched from the physical copy, between the physical copy and my Kindle at night. As you know, I don't like to disturb anyone with my reading light. This was so funny, and it was the perfect book at the perfect time because after reading A Hue of Blue, I was kind of depressed, and I was pissed off. I was, there's a lot of rage inside of me because of fucking little cross earring man. This was just exactly what I needed. A palate cleanser. It was so easy to read. I think I read it in like a day. It is about a runaway bride in this small town who leaves, another small BB syndrome man. She literally is in this small town that she doesn't know anybody. She doesn't have anything because she didn't work. He was making all the money, so she needs a job like ASAP. Gets hired by the grump in town, of course, I love a little grumpy man. Single dad who needs a nanny for the summer. You already know where this is going. So she sleeps in the apartment thing like above his garage, takes care of his twins. She's his nanny for the summer. Should I say less? It was sort of insta-lovey, but that's fine. Like, this is what I needed, a palate cleanser. It was so easy to digest. It was funny, entertained me. I liked it. The book cover on Kindle Unlimited is different. It is a picture of a man, but that's fine. I rated it a 3.5 stars. Beautiful. Loved it. I will read more Melanie Harlow books, especially if they are on Kindle Unlimited. Second to the last book that I read in January, the one, the only, Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Oh my god, guys, I was so excited for this book. Like, you don't even know. My husband took me on drop day, on release day, and I got the second to the last deluxe copy. I didn't get the Target Deluxe with the pictures inside, but nonetheless, look at this beauty. She's beautiful. She is an icon. She is the moment. I was so excited for this. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. I enjoyed this book the way that I enjoyed reading Fourth Wing. Can you guys see right here? My Empyrean series. Who the fuck calls it that? Everyone calls it the Fourth Wing series. Anyway, look at this little guy that I got to sit there. An ode to Miss Violet Soaringale. I was so excited to see, big fur ball, big dust bunny. I was so excited to see what Rebecca Yarros was going to give us after the clusterfuck that was Iron Flame. Look, Iron Flame was the second in a 5-part series. It was a filler book. It was a, world builder book. It had to be done. It had to be done. And I'm glad that it was, because it's over now. I loved Fourth Wing. I tolerated Iron Flame. I absolutely adored Onyx Storm. This was amazing. I will not accept any slander over Onyx Storm saying that it was the same thing as Iron Flame. The first 20% of the book was giving Iron Flame. The rest of it was amazing. I feel like Rebecca Yarros is such a Swiftie that she knows the power of Easter eggs and planting information early on for it to make sense for us later. We have to remember that this is a 5-series book, and this is barely book 3. I rated it a 4.75. I love Xaden. He's my top 2 god tier book boyfriend. I love Violet. I feel like this book had a lot of world building, especially in the beginning and name dropping in the beginning. It felt a little like Iron Flame, but after 20% of the book, it was so easy to digest. The way that Fourth Wing was easy to digest and easy to read. The miscommunication that Violet and Xaden had in Iron Flame is completely thrown out the window, and their communication was so amazing in this book. I absolutely loved it. And I know that Xaden is everyone's, shadow daddy. We love him. But can we give it up for Miss Violet Soaringale? That bitch loves hard. She really does. The way that she, was sticking up for her man and really just, die. She's a ride or die. 100%. 100%. Love that for her. She better take care of Xaden. I was excited to see the little suggestions about who's going to get a love story later on in the series. I won't ruin it for you, but I know 2 couples at the top of my head that are going to 100% you know, get it on. Excited to see that. We got a little jealous Satan, which was fun. Literally gave me butterflies. Lots of character development, I bet, in this book, which I loved, from Kat, from Dane. Riddick reminds me of Kenji from the Shatter Me series. So funny. The best sarcastic side character ever. Love Bodhi, love Garrick. I love all the characters. I loved this book. Very, very well done. If you haven't started the series, start it because Fourth Wing and Iron Flame are actually on Kindle Unlimited, I believe. Stick through Iron Flame, guys, because this book does more than enough to make up for what that was. And I'm so excited for Rebecca Yarros to see all this appreciation for this book because I think after Iron Flame she was a little discouraged, but girl, good job. On to the last book that I read in the month of January. I was honestly getting into a little bit of a book slump after Onyx Flame because I was just staring at the wall for a while, to be completely honest. But I got through it. I tried picking up 2 different books. Didn't have any motivation to read until I picked up this one. Guys, this is absolutely amazing. There were so many good reads in the month of January, and this followed up and followed through, lived up to my expectations. I love Destiny Sidwell, what Des is reading here on YouTube and Instagram, everything. And she recommended this book a while ago. I've had it on my TBR for a while, and I finally picked it up, and it's so, so, so amazing. It is Lovely War by Julie Berry. This is another 5-star read for me. I love this book. I wrote absolutely amazing and beautiful in every way. One of my top books. Will recommend times 1,000. 6 out of 5 stars. This book is set in 2 different time periods and in 2 different storylines that we're following. So it is being told by the Greek gods and goddesses. Aphrodite, don't know his name here, who is her husband. Ares, Hades. Aphrodite, the goddess of love, is on trial for having an affair. She is telling 2 different stories, which she says are her 2 favorite love stories of all time, in her defense. So it's set in 1942 with the Greek gods and goddesses hearing Aphrodite, and then it goes back to 1917 for the First World War is happening, and she's telling the story of Hazel and James. Hazel is this protected, sheltered, only child to her parents who just studies and, sits at home with her parents, and James, who comes from a bigger of a family, not as well off as she is, from a smaller part in London, who is going to war. And they meet a couple days before he has to report for duty. And they instantly are smitten with each other. And it's being told through letters and through James' point of view and Hazel's point of view. Then it also is being told from other point of views, which is another love story from Colette, which is a Belgium girl who lost everything due to this war. And a black American whose name is Aubrey, who is also in the war. At one point, they all are intertwined with each other, and it's just amazing to see how this author wrote Aphrodite, telling her story, and you could see, since she's a goddess of love, how much love and passion are intertwined in the way that she tells her stories. And then it goes to another Greek god who is the god of war, and how he tells her story and how he focuses on the roughness and war and gunfire and how different they tell their stories based on who they are and what they rule, if that makes any sense. This story contains music, it contains love, art, soul, and life. It deals with discrimination that Aubrey is dealing with in 1917 South Carolina as he's touring through the United States before he gets shipped off to go and help in the Great War. Deals with segregation, black rights, police brutality, and injustices against people of color in this time. It's just amazing to see how well written this book is. It sort of reminds me of Ruthless Vows by Rebecca Ross and how beautifully written it is. It's just an amazing book, and it deals with so many topics that need to be discussed then in that time period, and then also in the time period that we're living in right now. I absolutely adored this book. I cried my eyes out. I literally cried my eyes out during while reading this book. 6 out of 5 stars for me. I adored the books that I read this month. It was a good set of books, and I'm happy that I started off 2025 with these books because it just motivated me for my reading for the next year. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, do all the stuff y'all do on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? All my socials will be linked down below if you want to, connect with me through there. But thank you guys so much. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.